An immediate after impact, and in fact something that Gaurang was pointing out as well, will be that a lot of countries are going to beef up their security and procure as much as they can when it comes to protecting their borders. In fact, India has already started upping its military spend, has spent about 23,500 crore worth deals have been signed in the last year.
That's right, Shweta. So, you know what India has signed already, the deals that have been sealed with India's military spends with the rest of the world are amounting to about 23,500 crores. I think what is important to note is that these are emergency procurement, what is referred to as EPs. These are emergency procurements by India's armed forces, which are outside of the budget outlay. The union budget presented this year on 1st Feb 2023 had kept an outlay of 5.94 lakh crore rupees, which is almost what 6 trillion rupees worth of outlay was earmarked for defense procurement. Now, defense procurement, as we all know, is a very, very long winding process of negotiations, of tendering, of trusted partners, of really doing the L1 and the T1 and making sure that all bids are done in a fair, square manner, because we've also seen cases of corruption, some where people have been convicted, many others which are still open, and we haven't really seen many convictions. But we've seen that overall defense procurement is a very long winding, arduous process of negotiations and closures, and time consuming, obviously. Now, emergency procurement.
So what are we procuring, essentially?
Right, I'll just come to that. So, emergency procurement, Shweta, is a measure which was installed by the government in 2016, soon after India was taken by surprise at Uri. And India said that, the Indian government said that the armed forces, Army, Air Force and Navy will be given the financial power to emergency procure any needs which are critical to national security and we face a deficit on. So, these EPs were sanctioned in 2016, then they continued even in 2020 when we had the skirmishes with China at Galwan and before that at Doklam. We realized that we were terribly short of personal protective gear. We were terribly short of high altitude, all weather sort of gear that keeps our soldiers safe, and even ammunitions for that matter. So, 23,500 crore rupees worth of emergency procurement has already happened. It has been done in 4 tranches. The first 3 tranches saw trade deals happen, defense deals happen with countries including Israel as well as France for that matter, whereas the 4th tranche of EPs is restricted to Indian domestic manufacturers only. Now, what has India procured? I think India is definitely looking at drones and AI-based drone surveillance mechanisms, AI-based drone swarms. So, these are top of the line when it comes to procurement, emergency procurement right now. Also, at a time when we know we are heading into elections, we know we have notorious neighbors that could, have some sort of an aggressive stance on India in the, coming up of the election year. So, drones and swarm drones, AI-enabled drone swarms is something that India is going for. India is going for precision-guided munitions. So, these are laser-guided bombs, laser-guided missiles, etc., for which India has already, in fact, procured some from France called Hammer. And Hammer are these precision-guided munitions which are, attached to the Rafales. And the Rafales, which India has recently procured, will be able to drop precision-guided bombs. In addition to that, from Israel, India has already, signed deals to procure anti-tank missiles as well as unarmed aerial vehicles, unmanned aerial vehicles. So, these are UAVs which India can fly, which are again procured from Israel, as well as anti-tank missiles called, if you remember in Balakot, the missiles that India had used to penetrate the bunkers at Balakot were also Israeli origin. Those were the Spice missiles. And India has now gone ahead and taken anti-tank missiles, perhaps not Spice, but similar to Spice, which can actually penetrate into tanks and make tanks absolutely, obliterate tanks completely. So, these are some of the procurements India is doing. Indian Army has done about 50% of the 23,500 crore rupees worth of EPs, which is amounting to about 11,000 crore rupees, 65 odd deals, 70 odd deals signed, followed by the Indian Air Force for about 8,000 crore rupees and the Indian Navy, the balance 4,500 crore rupees.
All right. So, emergency procurement worth 23,500 crore rupees, deals for which have been signed over the course of last 1 year. Details that were elaborately shared by Karthik here.